Shohreh R.
Hi, everybody. I couldn't think of my sense of humor without remembering my hat. This project in the humorous pathway is about understanding our sense of humor. And I had to think back in my life to see what I had done that was funny and helped my life. And any memory I had was when I was with my favorite hat. You know, my neck is very sensitive to sun, so over years I bought many hats, expensive, sophisticated, really nice looking, but none of them protected my neck, and I would come home with burned back and sometimes even blisters. Until year 2000 in Edmonton, in a festival, an international festival, I bought this hat for $5. So you see that I have had my favorite hats for over 20 years. And you see that it is very fragile, but I took really good care of it, even though I use it for gardening and many other purposes. So first, when I had bought it, I put it on sometimes for picnics that we had in Baha'i community. And I remember to tell my friends that I am not a standing lamp. And they realized what I said. And after that, I was hired to work for a road construction. And apparently in this road construction company, lots of boys who were going to supervise road construction, they would get into arguments and sometimes even fistfights with the contractors, unfortunately, on a job that is so hard to make it on time. So they needed a 5-foot brown woman to go to site to take care of supervision of road construction and getting the exact soil samples and asphalt samples we needed from the road. So on one of these occasions that every boy in our company went and got into fist fight with the contractor, they came and said, "Shohreh, you have to go to this one." I'm like, "Sure." And it happened to be a very sunny, hot day in July. So I had my hat on before I had my hard hat on. And when I got to the site with the same pickup truck of the company, that contractors knew somebody that they argue with comes with that truck, I showed up and I went down and I just looked at them. The women who were in the crew, they fell on the ground from laughter. I didn't mean to make them laugh. I just had my hat on so I wouldn't burn. And the men were trying not to show that they are laughing because they thought they may hurt my feeling. But with a smile, they approached me and asked me, "What do you want?" And I said, "Yeah, I need asphalt sample from that location and couple soil sample from that location. And if you don't mind, it looks like the person who came yesterday couldn't finish our report. If you could help me finish yesterday's, and I'm going to write today's report. And that's it, if you don't mind." And they were like, "Oh, sure." And they went and took the samples from exact locations I told them. And they carried it even for me to back of the pickup truck. And I wrote my report and I was back in like 1 hour or two. And everybody was like, "Is everything okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, my hat saved me." They really liked it. And in another occasion, when I worked in Irvine, California, Orange County, every lunchtime, me and 2 other coworkers, we would go for a walk. And guess what I had on? Of course, my favorite hat. I don't want to be burned. I want to come back comfortable and continue working. I remember one of the coworkers that came with me, Margaret. Every day she told me, "Shohreh, you need a hat." And I told her, "Margaret, I have a hat. Don't you see my hat? I think it's big enough to be seen." But she didn't accept that I have a hat. She would keep telling me, "You need a hat, you need a hat." Of course, sometimes people would notice when it gets too windy, I use my very expert skills at how to maneuver my hat so it stays on my head. See, when the wind comes, if I turn towards wind, the wind helps actually pushing the hat on my head. So, over 20 years, I just do this naturally. When wind comes, I just know which way to turn and hat stays there, and I still have no burn on my body. But Margaret didn't believe me. She said, "You need a hat." And sometimes, this hat is so light, it would stay on my head and I would forget to take it off. I would come back to my desk and completely drawn in my project, I would just keep writing emails and doing stuff I was doing until I would notice my Asian coworkers are snapping photos of me from back because I have this hat on. And they think, I have to have this hat on only in rice field. They don't think in a cubicle in North America, in an office setting, anybody should have this on. But this is my favorite hat and protects me from being sunburned for over 20 years. So, thinking about all these instances and other instances that happened in my life, I thought to myself, okay, Shohreh, what is your sense of humor? And I realized that I don't have a sense of humor. I am the comedy. I don't have a sense of humor. I am a comedy. Anything I do is a comedy. I don't mean to make people laugh, but I show up and everybody's laughing and I have to figure out what was funny. And the same with the story of my hat. I didn't mean to make anybody laugh, but since I'm the comedy, it made people laugh. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Shohreh.